Yo, what up, what up? It's your man, Big Brandon Carter. I'm here with New York Times best-selling author, Adams Bornstein, also founder of Born Fitness. He's written multiple best-selling books. He's Engineering Alpha is one of my favorites. I actually have that. I have the physical copy over here somewhere, and I like it so much I bought it in physical, and I bought the Kindle version. And that's how I know I really like a book. I buy it twice. He's written for every magazine you could think of, men's health, a lot of men's health stuff. Every fitness magazine. What's up, Adam, man? Talk to the people.
How you doing today? I'm doing great. I'm just, I'm here in what is kind of a transition period. This is my office, but it's being turned into a nursery. I have a baby on the way, which means I'm getting kicked out of my office and gonna be moving somewhere else. So it's a bit of a transition, but exciting.
Like this is my office / home gym library, and one day it's gonna be I'm gonna meet the same fate.
Yeah, it was when my wife got pregnant, she was like, "Well, you know where the nursery's going, right? It's going to your office." And I'm like, "Yeah, that means one thing: we got to move to a bigger place." Which we're actually going to move in now in about 4 weeks. We're making the transition, and it's like, you know what? I'm still going to need my space, because if we give me just this 10% of the room, it's not going to work out. And I don't think the baby wants to hear me tapping on my keyboard all day long.
Baby doesn't need a whole room. That's excessive.
I think baby does need the entire room. Baby gets whatever he wants.
It's gonna be a boy, you know.
It's a boy. Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I wanted to save it. No, I'm gonna save this stuff, man. I'm just joking. So, man, listen. We were talking earlier before we count on him. I've written 3 books, but they're short books, Kindle books. 100-page ECs, pamphlets. They've been bestsellers. They've been good. But you write legit books, New York Times bestseller. You actually like writing. Can you just talk to me about, like, because not a lot of fitness guys like to write and are good at it. How did you gain that skill?
I think it's the fact is I'm probably a writer who has a knowledge and expertise in fitness, rather than a fitness person who is trying to share my content through writing.
Yeah.
So that's the way.
Like me. That's me.
Right. So my job is working with people like you, people who know the ins and outs of fitness and nutrition and health, and they know so much, but their mode of communication is oftentimes working with clients or being on video, and the idea of putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard is different, because you want to find the best way to communicate. Now, what I realized a long time back, and it took me a while to even realize that, is that my skill is in writing. But for the longest time, I didn't think that I could write about things that I enjoyed or I was passionate about. So I have a background in exercise physiology. I have a background in nutrition, but I always almost viewed my background and interest in writing as something different. It's either I had to be a writer or I had to be in fitness and nutrition. And it wasn't until I was honestly about like 26, 27 years old that a mentor of mine came forward and was just like, "Adam, why don't you just write about health and fitness? You have the background of that. You have the ability." And it was like a light bulb went off, and it seems so obvious. It was like, yeah, that would be a lot smarter than what I'm doing right now. Why don't I just combine a skill with a passion? So the reason why I'm able to do it is I view myself much more of a writer and a journalist who have these areas of expertise in fitness and nutrition. So I don't like to I call myself a translator. So it's my job to take the smart people like you and translate the information and create information in a way that pretty much anyone can digest.
All right, I like first 2 things you said that were cool right there. I like that you called me smart. Yeah. And I like that you what you said, combine the skill with the passion. That's because it's a different skill set. Like writing is a skill set. Like not everybody even should try to do it for a living. Like it's a different skill. So I think that's a good takeaway for people already. If they can try to find a skill, their passion, and combine the two.
Yeah, a lot of people try and almost force a situation. You can even look like talking to you, like the Kindle books. And the fact that they're bestsellers says that obviously they were successful, but a lot of people feel like, oh, I've got all these ideas. I need to write them down. I got to be a writer. And then they do writing and they either hate it or they struggle at it. And sometimes the struggle is because we all struggle at anything new. So you shouldn't take a struggle as almost a barrier to entry. But sometimes you really need to ask yourself, not necessarily what should I be doing, but what would I enjoy doing and what am I going to be best at? This is why when you think about it, there's so many different ways for us to create content or share ideas. We can write them, but we can do podcasts, we can do a Google Hangout, you can do a TV show, you can do a YouTube series. There's so many different ways to create. And when I do a lot of business consulting, it's where I spend most of my time now. When I look at companies, I tell them I look at it almost like a football coach. And as a football coach, some of the best football coaches, yeah, they're great at their X and O's, but what makes them really special? If you look at like the Bill Belichick's of the world, what makes them special is their coaching tree is unbelievable. All their assistants become head coaches. So when you're looking at your skills, it's almost like you never want to put a defensive lineman at wide receiver. Right. What I mean by that is you want to play to your strengths. And I think a lot of times people almost just force themselves into situations because they think, oh, I need to have a blog, I need to write, where rather than thinking about what they should be doing or what everyone else is doing, they should think about what they would be best at or what they would most enjoy, because ultimately that's going to lead to the best output.
I always tell people like, don't try to make cats bark. Like let it go. The cat has a particular set of skills.
Right. Getting 9 lives, being really lazy, giving me allergies.
You're allergic to cats.
Yeah. And luckily, my parents have got one. My brother's got one. It's wonderful.
Look, so like you said, like I'm one of those guys who forces writing, but I'm trying to get better. I don't want to. It's like it's weird because I'm calling in between. Like, should I just stop writing? Because I'm best with video. I feel like I'm best with video, but like I want. But people like my books. I just don't like writing them. Right. So I don't know. I don't know what that means.
It means you should find what you don't like about writing and either get better at it or change the system in which you write. Because if you find that people get value out of it, I mean, you want to keep on making sure that ultimately you're providing the service that people enjoy. And if you enjoy it on some level, you should just kind of focus on that. So a lot of times it's the process that people create. It's the same thing. Like if someone wants to lose weight, but you're forcing them to do one type of exercise, the goal isn't saying, well, you just shouldn't lose weight. It's like, okay, if you don't like this process, why don't we try another one? What's the gateway drug, if you will, to make something more accessible or easier, and then you can transition. So if the current form of writing isn't working, find an easier point of entry, and then eventually maybe you can work your way back to where you are now and not make it so miserable.
Yeah.
Or just keep doing video.
Yeah, I mean, videos are like, how I wrote I got a system that I think is better. My last book and my last program I just put out the other day is I make you heard of the 90-minute book formula. You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't, because the idea of doing a book in 90 minutes makes my brain explode. It's more like 90 years is how it feels like.
It's 90 minutes to wait 4-hour work week. It's 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? It's right. More of a thing. But it's more of a title than it is a night. It took me more than 90 minutes. Is what I say. But right. That's what they call it. And that wasn't as fair as this either. I'm a big fan. Everyone knows me. I'm a big fan. I'm just saying I work more than 4 hours, but I really like that book. What I'm trying to say is I make an outline, right? And then I record myself talking about each point on the outline, and then send that to get transcribed, and then have that edited. And that's making it a lot easier. But I can only do that on topics I know like the back of my hand.
Right.
Example of your process, like if you're gonna, because I don't even like writing blog posts. Like the girl who, like the people, my team, they want me to write more blog posts, and like the people who like booked you for this, like like, oh man, I can't. All right, but what's your process? I'd love to hear it, because you're someone I read your material, and I'd like to know.
It always starts with just trying to take a real problem and then boil it down to what is the simplest, aspect that we can attack. So for me, the reason why I do coaching to this day is that if I stop working with real people, the stuff that I write about loses relevancy. So the moment I stop writing training programs or diets or hearing the questions that people have, or going to seminars and learning from people is really the moment that like I've gotten lazy or I've gotten too cocky, is how I feel, because there's only so much that changes in training and nutrition from a scientific standpoint, but a lot changes in terms of the problems that people have, the questions that they have, how technology changes things. There's so many different issues, how work schedules, how life schedules, when people go through different life processes. I'm even seeing with myself as I'm preparing for fatherhood, the type of things that I can do with training and diet are going to differ from what happened when I was just a married man, which is different from when I was single, which is different from when I was in college, which is different from when I just wanted to bench press 6 times a week. And you always go through these life processes. So for me, I review the questions that I get during the course for a week through coaching my clients, and I ask myself, what is something that I can take that is a question that people have that can be answered in a way that people are struggling with? Because all of the answers essentially are out there, but if the answers we were providing were solving the issue, we wouldn't have so many problems. So it's not that we need to make up new methods or search for more information. We have to ask better questions and find better answers. So when I start an article, I'm trying to ask myself, well, what is the question that people need answered? And a lot of times it means me writing the question over and over and over again in different ways until I get to a point where I can really come up with a better answer. A great example is we just put up an article on, why your ab workouts aren't working. Now, a lot of people can, and then I ask myself, well, why is it crunches don't work? Or why is it that planks aren't enough? And I kept on boiling it down like, we've got enough stuff on planks. We got enough stuff on why you don't need to do crunches. We got enough stuff on how, you have to diet your way to see abs. And what it came down to is just like, the question I want to ask is like, why don't people understand how to train their abs? And it's they don't understand the different cues, the idea of bracing, of the way that the abs are protected and connected to the spine, the way that different types of movements can really carve your abs in ways that you wouldn't even think that was an abs exercise. So I kept on asking questions, and then I start there, and then sometimes I'll write the content myself. Sometimes I want to find a subject area expert. In this case, it was Dean Somerset, who is one of the smartest men I've ever met, who just understands how the human body works, understands cueing, understands coaching. And it was talking to Dean and being like, hey, Dean, you understand the core, you understand training abs really, really well. Why don't we come up with 5 tips that are going to be different than what we've seen in anything, that's really going to help people, that if they read that article, they could walk in the gym tomorrow and start applying this stuff where like the light bulbs start going off. So I tell people all the time, I'm not here to break news. I'm not a news site. I'm here to help you understand what you don't understand right now.
That's a great way to look at it. Because sometimes people be like, I'll post a video and be like, hey man, that's not new. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like it's not supposed to be new. None of this is new. That's really, I like the way you put that.
Excellent. I mean, that's the idea. I mean,
hey man,
if it didn't work, I'd be like, well, time to go back to the drawing board and fix it up.
That's all. All right. So how much of it is like, all right, so I have a degree in marketing, and I've did a lot of studying copywriting. How much of your writing is copywriting? If you know what I mean? Like how much of it is like, because I like, all right, let me give you 5 tips, or or like why crunches are working. How much do you struggle as a journalist? Because you're like a real writer. I'm not. I'll put like all the power words, all the marketing tricks I know. I'll shove all that stuff in all my work because I'm not a writer. But you write. You're a writer, and you say you care about the craft. How do you find that balance? Because I know some writers don't know how to write stuff that sells. So like, how do you find that balance?
If I'm doing copywriting, I worry about that. So if I'm creating a sales page, then I put on my marketing hat and do that. When I'm doing content, I don't worry about copywriting and marketing at all, which to a lot of people is kind of antithetical in the fact that like, well, if you're not including that, how are people going to end up buying something from you or getting your book? And the way that I look at it is content is king. And if I write something that's really great, you might not want to buy something from me immediately. But if I keep offering you great content, great ideas, great service for free, inevitably, the idea is that if what I'm providing you for free is so good, the stuff that you would pay for is even better. And that's the standard that I hold it to. So I always take the long angle view that some people create content or write an article with the idea that, you know, you want to have a very direct relationship. I write A so I can sell B.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about that because, and part of it's because, you know, I don't have to make my money directly from the stuff that I write on my blog. My blog, my website exists to educate and inform. You know, what I want to do is I want to motivate people, I want to inspire people, but more than anything, I want to provide them with the tools that allow them to take action. I want to democratize health and fitness, so it makes my job a little bit easier. There are enough paid sites and paid products out there where I get frustrated when, you know, a lot of people feel that health and fitness, it's exclusive. It's like a have versus have not. It's, you know, I don't have the money to buy this information. I don't have the money to eat certain ways. And what I want to do is democratize it in a way that, you know, I want to make it more inclusive. Anyone can be healthy. Anyone can be fit. Now, if you want to get to that next level, sometimes you need to pay for services, and that's understandable. But for that baseline understanding, we shouldn't just say, you know, for me, it's that what I want to do is kind of open the doors and provide that baseline understanding. If there's other things that you want to do, if you want to pay me for certain services, that's fine. But I want you to do so under the context that you feel very comfortable, very confident with the information that I've provided. So that's the way I go about it. And that's because that's my background. I'm a writer. My job is to give information to people. And at the end of the day, that's kind of how I judge myself.
Yeah, I like that mindset, because I put out like one, sometimes two. I'm trying to do 2 videos a day, right, on YouTube, and it's all free. So it's like, it's with the stuff that I have that you pay for is mostly just like consolidation of it, you know, like, or like with me just like consolidating them so you don't have to hunt around the internet, and I put it in like a package that's easy to digest.
Right.
But if not, you can go. I mean, you find all of my content around if you have that kind of time. Right. But, you know, but if you got more time, and you know, 'cause some people aren't going to buy stuff anyway, so that's cool. So like, but if you want like it all put together and laid out to you in perfect form, then those are the products. But everything, I mean, it's all out there. You know, it's like, that's how I see it. You know, like some people probably torrent your book, right? Those people aren't going to buy it anyway, right? So like people, you type in Brandon Carter torrent, all types of stuff will come up. But those people who even have the torrent stuff on their computer probably aren't customers. So whatever, go ahead. For me, I'm just like, yeah, go ahead and do it. Because I know, like, just people like me, like, I don't have that kind of time to go search around for torrents and hope they don't buy it.
Right. I mean, I have a very hard rule that you can't worry about the things that you don't control. People are going to pirate stuff and do ridiculous things. And I mean, we can get into a deep conversation on what a reflection it is, because no one wants their work sold for free. The way that you make a living, I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's a business aspect to everything. Mm-hmm. And if just because you don't want to buy something that someone is selling doesn't mean you have to disrespect them. If you don't think it's worth that money, that's fine. There are plenty of things that I don't buy because I look at the price tag and I'm like, it's not worth it. But then there are plenty of things that I do buy that other people think I'm crazy. There just needs to be an understanding of a respect of people's intellectual property and selling. And that's what it is. I mean, there's a business behind everything, and it doesn't mean that it's bad, because if there is effort and if there is quality put into it, that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, 10% of people are going to buy from you no matter what. 10% of people are going to not buy from you no matter what. The other 80%, they're all on the fence.
Yeah.
They're all on the fence, and they're all either a potential customer or not. And your job is to just, at the end of the day, make sure that, you know, whether they buy or not, they feel that you have something good to offer. And that's where the marketing and the selling and all that fun comes in.
And even if they torrent it, they steal it. I mean, they wanted it. They thought it was good enough.
That's also true. Yeah. They just wanted to beat the system.
Yeah. And it's like, so, I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, I can't police the internet. I don't go around trying to police the internet.
Impossible.
Yeah. Somebody writes something bad about me or say something bad about me or steals my shit or posts my shit, or I'm just like, yeah, you know, that's part of it. You know, that's part of it. That's kind of how I see it. Well, you still there, man?
I'm still here.
Oh, my fault. I thought man. You just
like, I'm just freezing.
What I said was so profound. You just like, whoa.
I was letting it marinate. I was taking it all in.
Yo, all right. Let's talk about some. I kind of want to talk about some hard like fitness stuff. You know, because this writing stuff, I don't know if that was all self-indulgent in me projecting my insecurity.
No, you call the shots. I'm just here to answer questions.
Oh, man, I like that. I like that attitude. All right. So let's talk, like lot of stuff you recommend in engineering alpha is like same kind of a lot of stuff that I actually recommend to my clients too. So like first of all, is cheat days, man. Like cheat days. Can you go over why cheat days you think are? I know because I know you think they're imperative. It's like almost not an option. You know, like right? Am I correct me if I'm wrong?
It depends on the individual. So I think that cheat days are good for many people, more for the psychological benefits than anything else. A lot of people, when they go on a diet, they're just like, oh man, I can't eat anything. I'm hungry all the time. I want that cheesecake. They tell me I can't have that cheesecake. That cheesecake looks so good. I shouldn't have that cheesecake. One bite won't hurt me. I shouldn't have it. 2 more slices won't hurt me. What am I doing? The entire cheesecake is gone. What have I done? And it's because it's the whole, like, it's a mindset thing where, like, the more we believe we can't have something, the more we want it. And the more difficult.
That's basically.
I know. It's basically how I tried to get women to date me forever, but they still didn't want to date me. It's like, I don't want to go on a date with you. And they're like, no, I don't. And I'm just like, it totally backfired. That didn't work the way.
That doesn't work. That's the one case that doesn't work, man. You can ask all the guys, the all those guys. I'm sorry, I was about to say something.
Yeah, no, but the joy of the cheat day is that it provides flexibility for people to be like, you know what, I'm following this plan, but I get a day where I can eat what I want and not feel bad about it, not have guilt, just enjoy. And it makes it's almost like a reward, but it also keeps you mentally focused. It keeps you kind of physically feeling great moving forward. Now, while cheat days are not imperative, I would say for everyone, is that some people have, not to sound all, I don't know, next level, but some people have a bad relationship with food. Some people have a really, really bad relationship where giving them that cheat day opens the floodgates. They can't just have one meal or one day. They just start craving everything. And then one cheat day turns into 6. And next thing you know, they're just like, I had 6 straight days, I give up. And so when you decide to give someone a cheat day, it's really about understanding the relationship that they have with food, the self-control, and how much they feel that, is it a meal in a day and you're okay with that? Or if it becomes something more, you don't feel you have that self-control, we want to build in different strategies. This is where the whole, if it fits your macros, actually works for a lot of people, because the whole idea is that you don't have to think about things as cheats or indulgences. If counting calories or counting macros doesn't make you neurotic or drive you crazy, you can have a small dessert every single day as long as you factor it in. As long as the majority of your foods are coming from good, nutritious, whole food sources, a little bit of ice cream, a slice of pizza won't kill you. But then, for other people, the idea of counting macros creates stress. So when I deal with nutrition coaching, when I try and problem solve for people, it's never about saying this is the only way to go about it. When you write a book, you usually have to take a stand. And for the plan we created in Engineering the Alpha, especially with intermittent fasting, the cheat day worked really well for people who would do well on intermittent fasting. Okay. If you're not on intermittent fasting, if you're not a fan of cheat days, you have to almost kind of hack the situation and figure out, are you someone who likes counting macros? Are you someone who likes cheat days? Do you have a good enough relationship with food where you can exhibit that self-control? And if not, there are other ways to create flexibility within a plan so that it's sustainable. That's the biggest thing. Any diet plan that is not sustainable is never going to work. People always talk about like diet plans working for 4 or 6 weeks, and the ones that last for the short term, the reason they last for the short term is because like you just can't do it long term, which means you're never going to get the way that you want. People don't look a certain way from a 6-week plan. Right. It doesn't. It might get them on the right path. It might jumpstart them, but like consistency and sustainability, that's the biggest fitness secret. You want to look really good. You want to freaking feel great. You got to train really freaking hard consistently over a period of time, and you got to build habits of eating that you can maintain over a period of time. And you see, as you get better, as you get leaner, as you get stronger, the funny thing that happens is the easier it becomes because you get more leeway in your diet. There are certain things that you can eat, the leaner that you become, that don't have the same impact on your body that they did when you're overweight. Right. So you want to look at the process and build it out. Yeah, man. I
I used to tell everybody to have a cheat, mostly for the reasons you talked about, like psychologically, like, what are you gonna tell me? I can never have a burger again? Come on, man, get real. That's not. There's no way I can.
I can't live in that universe. I can't live. Burgers are too good.
I don't want to be that live in that world. Or like I gotta go to the wedding and I gotta be the guy. I gotta break out my fitness pal at the with the wedding, or like at a family. I don't
drop the scale right down on the table and be like, I got this, guys.
Don't worry about it. I just gotta put how much is this? I just see how much.
Yeah, that's 30 grams. Don't worry about it. I got this. Cool.
I don't. Cool. You don't want to be that guy, or asking the guy at the restaurant, what kind of oil to you don't want to be that guy, So that's why I would tell everybody to do it initially, but now it's like sometimes for instance, I was doing some consulting with this guy last night, and he's lost 70 pounds.
That's awesome.
A little bit over 70 days, man.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put out the hangout where we were talking, but he was scared to do a cheat day, but he had also plateaued, and I want your take on this and make sure I didn't tell him the wrong thing. But I told him, listen, I don't know if I want him to take a real cheat day, because what happens is his palate has changed, right? Like a little bit. He's gotten used to the food he's been eating. He wasn't doing intermittent fasting, but he was just eating really clean and staying in a low deficit, like 12 to 1,400 calories. And I was just telling him, listen, your palate's changed, and I'm afraid that if you start eating like that for one day, you're gonna just, like you said, the floodgates open, and because that's been your life for 30 years, pizza and burger, it's gonna be real easy for those neural pathways to spark up again, and like you sink back into those habits. So I said, listen, maybe you just go, think of it as a refeed day where you just go above, like maybe the maintenance, or maybe just a little bit above maintenance, because he likes tracking his calories on the app. He like, that's his thing.
Yeah.
Game for him. So I was like, yeah, just take it up for one day, because I feel, and I know you've talked about this before, and I think I might have stolen it from you. Is
take it.
Is your hormones start to drop. Like when you're in a deficit for too long, and it's like that's what causes what can cause a lot of the plateaus. But correct me if I'm wrong, man. I want your take on that, man. Let me make sure I've been telling you.
Yeah. So no, so there are a couple things that are going on. So the leaner that you get, the harder it becomes to lose fat, for many reasons, and one of them is definitely hormonal aspect. And if you're looking at the psychological, so the psychological idea of, so much of what I do is focusing on behavioral change, because when we talk about the consistency and the sustainability of following either an exercise plan or a nutrition plan, the psychological barriers are way bigger than the physiological barriers. Our bodies are capable of incredible things. Most of us underestimate what we can do with our body, and that's because a lot of us, we're weak, or we've never looked a certain way in the mirror, or we've been overweight. So just as we know that the sun rises on one side of the world and sets on the other side, we wake up and go to sleep every single day thinking that we're designed to look a certain way, and that's not true. It's just what we've experienced. So you almost have to reprogram that the same way that, you talk about, when you change someone's behaviors with eating, the ultimate goal is giving them control. Control to make decisions, control to eat foods, controls to not be afraid that I have a cookie or a piece of pizza or a burger, that it's going to be bad. People live in fear of food. It's terrible. But when people are losing, especially when they have a lot of weight to lose, there does have to be this process so the process of behavioral change is based on this idea of reinforcement. And you want positive reinforcement, where it's the idea like success breeds success. If you do something, you do it well, and someone tells you do it well, you're like, oh, I'm good at this. And then you've got more confidence, you got more control, and you're able to take on more and do more. You see this in jobs, you see this in weight loss. You want to progress people. But sometimes, there has to be a regression before there's a progression. And when you get someone to lose a lot of weight and you want to get them into these healthy patterns of eating, that is not stressing about everything, not needing to count everything, not worrying that every ounce of carbohydrate or something that isn't a vegetable or fruit is going to, turn into fat on your body. You do what you're saying is that you almost set these pathways where it's just like, all right, you dip your toe in. So you can start with a refeed where you see, hey, if you eat a little bit more on this day, you don't have to be so neurotic. It's okay. And then next week you eat even a little bit more. So maybe you're in a surplus one day a week where it's like, look, Your body didn't change. It's okay. Then you start giving them a little bit of taste of something sweeter or a dessert. And you get them to the point where you want them to be comfortable with these things. And you're right that with some people, if you just open the floodgates and give them complete control, they're not ready for that yet. I mean, if like a baby learns how to crawl and you're like, oh my God, they're crawling, let's let them walk, and you pick them up and you stand them on their feet, they're just going to drop and you're going to be like, oh man, I just dropped my kid. And that's,
know that. That's important for you to know going forward. So I'm glad
this is really important for me to go. I'm going to look at my kid. I'm going to be like giving him protein shakes. He's going to be all big and muscular as a baby. And I'm going to be like, look at that swole cat. He can walk just fine. He got this. And my wife is going to be like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Cardio crawl.
He's got it. He's got it. I'm going to put him up and he would fall. That's what we do to people. We see a little bit of success and then we assume, hey, you've got this figured out, where it's just like, it's okay to go slow to go fast. I tell this with all my consulting clients, with all my coaching clients, go slow to go fast. If you try and bite off too much and then you fail, that failure has such detrimental impact, not only on your progress and success, but your belief in the process, your control in the process. If they try to do something and they fail, that can spiral out of control so quickly. So that when I create steps, when I build plans for people, I have one goal and one goal only, and that is make it so easy that it's hard to fail. If I make it hard to fail, that means they're going to have progress week over week. The jumps might not be huge, but what's going to happen is, like, before you know it, you're going to be in control. Your body's going to look better. You're going to feel better, and you're going to be thrilled. I always, so I've taught a lot at the college level, and I always make the analogy of like weight loss or weight gain or building muscle to teaching someone how to study correctly. Too many students sit there and be like, I want an A in the class. I want an A in the class. I want to get 100 on this assignment. And they stress about the end goal the same way that someone stresses about, I need to lose 50 pounds. That's, you're taking your eyes, you're putting your eyes on the prize and taking away from what's going to get you there. When I talk with students, I'm just like, hey, worry about studying the material, worrying about learning this chapter or learning this theorem or getting this down. If you focus on the process itself and don't even worry about the grade, and you learn all of the steps, by the time that test comes around, you're going to ace it, because you weren't even stressing about that stuff. You were stressed about something you don't control. What do you control? You control learning the material. What are the steps in the process that are going to get you to that weight loss or that muscle gain? Oh, you're not eating protein every meal. That's a process. You're never eating vegetables. You need those micronutrients. You're not hydrated. You're only training 2 days a week and you're not even pushing the intensity. I find out the areas that they struggle in and we focus on the process. Don't worry about the end goal. Set those goals because they're good for you to have, and then break them up. But if you focus on the process and you master those processes, you're going to be unstoppable, because that transfers beyond everything. If you learn the steps involved, if you learn how to eat, if you learn how to exercise and you build on those, you have that forever. Losing weight at the end of the day can be relatively easy because it can be done in a short period of time. You can create shortcuts. You can cheat the system. Teaching people how to eat, teaching people how to train, you can do that for your life. And then, like, you don't have to worry about, you know, what am I supposed to do? It puts you in control. The more I put someone in control, the more I can walk away and know they don't need me. My ultimate goal with anyone I deal with is to get them to the point where they don't need me because they know what works for them.
Yo, smart fucking guy, man. Smart fucking guy, man.
Try.
I'm right there.
I just wrote books on myself. I'm just trying to absorb it. I you know, the truth is, I hang around a lot of real smart people. If you want to know you want to know the best thing you can do for yourself, find people that are really smart and you respect, and spend as much time around them as possible and learn from them. My entire career has been built on, I always invest in learning from people. I learn from coaches, I learn from psychologists, I learn from nutritionists, I learn from trainers. And, you know, my skill, again, is that ability to translate. My ability is to communicate information in a way that people understand. But the best communication skills are worthless if I don't have the information to go around along with it. So my job is just to learn from people and then see what works, and then, you know, be open and accountable. There's plenty of things that I've tried to do that just hasn't worked. And I can stubbornly, you know, be like, hey, I said that, so I should stick to it. Or I can be like, you know what? I was fucking wrong. I screwed up. And accountability and being honest goes a long way. I admit when I'm wrong, and then when I'm wrong, most important thing isn't just to admit, it's to figure out how to become right, figure out how to make it better, and just, I never stop learning. I always say, and I'm totally stealing this from Jay-Z, but it says, like, you always want to have the attitude of an intern. You want to, that's the mindset. It doesn't matter what I accomplish in my career. I want to always act like I'm an intern. I want to hustle. I'm up at 4:30 a.m. every single day because I'm hungry. I want to train to make myself better. I want to make my clients better. I want to make the companies that I work with myself better, because, like, everything that I do, everything that I put in is a representation of me. And when you work with clients, you want them to feel the same way. People are like, how do you motivated to lose weight? And I'm like, how are you not? You're probably focusing on the wrong things, because you should think about how you look and how you feel as a representation of you. And that's what matters most, because like that's our legacy. Our legacy is who we are, what we do, and how we impact people. And how we feel is a representation of that. You don't have to be shredded. You don't have to have a six-pack to do that, but you do want to have energy. You do want to feel good about yourself. You do want to be confident. You do want to know that you are in control of the body that you are in, the one body that you get for the one life that you get to live. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to sit here and be frustrated because maybe your genetics suck? Maybe you have a problem with food? Or are you going to troubleshoot that and you're going to figure that out? Or are you going to get the people to help you out? That's ultimately why you pay. Sometimes you realize that I can't do it on my own, and that's okay. I can't do my taxes on my own. I hire an accountant. I can't give myself a physical exam. I hire doctors. You know what? I have enough stuff going on in my life that even I have a fitness coach, because I know that if I train on my own, I'm just going to walk around my weaknesses, where if I'm accountable to someone, I know how to train, I know how to eat, but I also know that I'll cheat myself because I'm human. So I'm accountable to them. So your job is to figure out what you have time for and what you can excel in. And the rest of the time you figure out, if I can't do it myself and it's important to me and your health should be important to everyone, what do I need to do to get myself there? And that's as good enough as ever, because if you feel good, if you look good, if you've got energy, sky's the limit. I truly believe that anyone can do anything with their life, but they just have to believe that they can.
Man, as good as you are as a writer, man, you're an even better speaker. You need to make more videos, man.
That's my struggle. My struggle is making more videos. I love video stuff. I gotta build a team and a structure to help me do that, because it's a perfect example. What you said, I hold myself back there, and I gotta build the support to make that happen.
Like I feel like you missed your calling, man. There it is, right there.
I do love the writing, though. I love the writing so much that
I'm just messing.
At the end of the day, you gotta go with what you enjoy. People don't do enough of what they enjoy.
That's cool that you have a trainer, man. Like I don't have a trainer, but like I've been thinking about it though. Like having someone train me just for the accountability, because I know I could be going. I know I can be going harder at that, because I've been.
And it's fun too. It's fun getting a new workout. It's fun getting a new diet. Like when you see that from your clients, they know that they look forward to that. When you give them a new workout, it's like Christmas morning for them. They're opening that thing up and they're like, "Oh man, what are you having me do?" But like they go in there excited. It's great. It's so easy to get invigorated, and like in our position where you know a lot of people, it's fun, and you're gonna have some misses. I've definitely hired some people that it didn't work out, but I know that getting better sometimes it's important to be pushed. Yeah, everyone can use that push, and just because you can do it on your own doesn't mean you can't do it better without someone else.
That goes to so many things, man. I outsource so much stuff now, man. I have like when we get off this thing, I have a team of housekeepers coming, because I just came to the conclusion that I'm not going to clean it. Like I let it get out of hand. Like it's almost embarrassing for me to look at it right now, because I've been so focused on business and everything. Is like, why don't I just hire some people to do it? I don't have to do this myself. Even if I could, they're going to do it better. Like last time I had someone clean, they cleaned it better than I've ever cleaned it. So I'm just saying, like, just because I can do it doesn't mean I should, right? It's the best use of my time.
Right.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you, you're so prolific, and you're coming out, you do so much writing and you books and training other people and working, doing consulting for other businesses. Can you tell about productivity, man? Like, do you have any productivity tips or things you do to get the most out of each day? I know you waking up at 4. That's intense. What time do you go to sleep?
Way too late. My wife is a night owl, and I'm an early morning guy, and my sleep, it is my biggest vice. I mean, a huge part of Engineering the Alpha talk about the importance of sleep. It's trying to write about all the time, and
every other fucking page is talking about sleep in that book.
Terrible. I'm absolutely terrible. The problem is that I can cheat. I know that I can perform with low levels of sleep. So a lot of the problems of sleep deprivation, you can't see, you can't feel. A lot of people, when they don't get enough sleep, they're just like, oh, I'm hungry all the time. I'm tired. I've got energy. I wake up each morning. I'm just like ready to go. I'm just like, let's freaking do this. I'm weird. And I know it. So I cheat myself with that, but it's something that I'm trying to work on. But with productivity, it's I'm really big at 2 things. 1, scheduling, and 2, focus. So if you were to look at my calendar, It's just reminders and things are scheduled that it's just like there are start and stop times. And if it's not done, you should just move on to the next thing. Now, a lot of people would be like, well, then how do you get anything done? And that's the key part of my day is the first part of the day. So when I wake up first thing in the morning is I meditate for 15 minutes. That's my quiet time. It's my me time. Leaves me feeling really energized, really great. And then after that, I come down, I take out a piece of paper. I've got a notebook that's right here. Let me get to a blank page. Got something like this every single day. And I write down the main goal for the day. There's one main goal that no matter what, it has to get done. So when I go through my day and in my day of scheduling, obviously there's that working on whatever that project is going to be incorporated in the schedule. But when I get done to the end of my day, whenever that is, 6, 7 o'clock, if that's not done, I cannot leave the office until it's complete. Because if you complete your one main goal every day, you get a lot of shit done.
Yeah.
The problem is a lot of people assign too many projects, they don't have focus, and they end up starting a lot of stuff but finishing nothing. I finish something every single day. And I'll have those secondary goals and those third goals. I love making lists, but the problem with lists is that, the reality of life is you make your list, and as the day goes on, you keep on adding stuff to that list. Or things come up and you got to go run to a meeting, or your wife needs help with something, or I've got a doctor's appointment that went 2 hours too late, or I got stuck in traffic. There are always these outliers that are screwing up life. This is why people like to say that they're busy. Every single person is busy. Let's be honest. It's a word that I try and avoid like it's the plague, because everyone's busy, and it's not my job to say I'm more busy than you or you're more busy than me. We're all busy. Life is busy. Life is tough. Let's be honest. Life is tough. So it's like the way that I make sure I get stuff done is I try and simplify it. Where that I know if I get one thing done every day, I'm going to end up getting a minimum of 365 things done in a year. It's going to be a lot of stuff. It's going to be a lot of stuff. And then once I got that one stuff, I start compartmentalizing. I know that Monday is going to be a focus for this. Tuesday is going to be a focus for this. And I just get hyper-focused. And it's what allows me to have time when I set aside when I'm going to be answering emails. I set aside when I'm dealing with coaching clients, when I'm dealing with my business clients, when I'm writing, when I'm working on book projects, when I'm helping out with something else, whether I'm donating my time, everything. I even have reminders that Thursday night is a date night with my wife. I know that I'll forget, so I have a reminder that goes off on Wednesday, and then again on Thursday morning, that if I haven't scheduled a date, I better do that. I better make time to set it aside, because life moves so fast. Life moves so fast that if we don't build systems for ourselves in order to get what we want done, and that's the key thing, get what you want done. Everyone doesn't need to do 100 things a day, but you do have to know what's important to you. You have to know what's going to have the biggest impact. And for me, I figure out, and I sit down literally every single day, because what happened the day before can impact what's important for the very next day. And because if you try and create too much structure and schedule, it becomes stressful. Because if you planned out what you wanted to do on Friday and Monday, and you get to Friday and you're like 4 days in the hole, you're just like, oh my God, I didn't get done Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and now I'm at Friday. And then you're like, look, it's too much stress. So you create a structure, but then you live every day in that day. And you're like, what do I need to do today? And if you look at it just within what you need to do that day, you're probably going to get it done. And you're going to eliminate a lot of that stress. Stress, again, is created by things that we don't control. So eliminate as many factors as you can of what you don't control. Put yourself more in control of what you do, and you'll see that you can do a lot. And in life, we're always finding ways to become more efficient, and we can all do more if we are honest with ourselves of like, where are we not using our time well, or where do we want to spend our time? Coming up in October, I'm gonna want to spend a lot more time with my family. I got a little baby boy on the way, and like that's the greatest job and responsibility I've ever had. And I am admittedly a workaholic, but there's nothing I want to work more on than my son. So much of what I've been doing right now is setting up a system that allows me to have that time, allows me to have that freedom to be there and be a father and be a husband first and foremost, while still creating a structure for my business to run.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good advice, man. Like I think I've done the same thing for a long time. I just when I started just becoming a lot more prolific and just getting a lot more done when I was just say I'll do one. I think I'm pretty confident I got it from Tim Ferriss. It was like
Tim's a really smart dude. So
yeah. 1 or 2 things a day. I just get those things done, or nothing, or like I start on them immediately after I meditate for 10 to 20 minutes. I get you see, I touched my wrist. That was a sign that that I was uncomfortable saying it because I don't always get it in. Like That was, yeah, it was a little, that's my tell. But anyway, I tried to get 10 to 15 minutes in each day, and each morning. Then I sit down, I got one, sometimes two, but I try to get it to one. One is better. And it's like nothing happens till that gets done. I don't, my phone doesn't even turn on until that's done. And that's helped me a lot. But I know everybody's schedule is a little different, but yeah, eliminating distractions helped me too. Like, so I don't keep my, like, until there's a reason this call was so in the afternoon, because I have a hard rule of 12. I don't turn on any devices, or I just work.
Smart. Those phones, they're the biggest distractors. When I write, I hide my phone.
Oh,
it's not even off. It's not even near me, because if I know that I can just have it within reach and turn it on, it can be such a time suck. So when I'm writing, because I just want to be focused, nothing's around me. People are like, "Where you been?" And I was like, "I was writing." And I was like, "Anything could happen." And I'm like, "I know, it's dangerous."
Yeah. I get so much more done on like planes. That's why I love work. I'm flying to Vegas on Saturday for some conference, and like I just know like that plane ride, I'm gonna get so much work done. You know,
Yeah.
it eliminates a distraction. But now they have the Wi-Fi.
I know.
Stay off the Wi-Fi.
Just don't put that money down. Just stay away. They make you pay. They put the. You got no choice then.
But you know what? It actually helps me, because I got a Chromebook now. That's my travel laptop, and I kind of need the internet to work a Chromebook. But I do most of my writing in Google Docs and stuff, so it's kind of cool. Like, I just don't put it on the phone, because then WhatsApp's gonna start going off, and Facebook messages and notifications, and that's what it can. Especially if you have a big network, man. Like I have a million goddamn Facebook fans, and it's like I can, like, anytime I want, I can just go in there and start talking to people, and it's cool to talk to.
A lot of people. That's a lot of people.
It's a big, yeah.
It's good.
And, yeah, and it's like sometimes I want to talk to them. Honestly, like, I like talking to them. Like, you see, I comment probably more than most people, you know. But I gotta.
That's good though. That's good though, because at the end of the day, like, people want to interact with real people.
Yeah.
People invest in people, and yeah, it's important to build systems and have your time. But if, like, you know, I always say that I don't use the B word. I don't use the busy word, because I tell people that, like, everyone has a choice of how they want to spend their time, and if you choose to, you know, make time for something, you make time for it. And when you make time for your fans and you make time for people to follow you, it makes an impact. I mean, that's how people build a brand. You want to know how to build a brand? Invest in people. Invest in the lifeblood and the foundation. And that's the people who come to you for advice, who come to you for interaction. And they know that's your time. They know that you're taking time out of your day to interact with them. And it makes such a huge difference. And I respect everyone who keeps it real, essentially, you know, on social media, because that's the joy of social media. It puts you in touch with people that you normally wouldn't be able to interact with, or you wouldn't feel you would be able to. You know, you have this status that, you know, some people look up to you, revere you, and you might just be like, hey, I'm just like another guy. But at the end of the day, it means so much to them that when you do that, it's, you know, people who use social media just as like an automation tool, just like where it's not them. It's fine if that's their business model, but I think that takes away the heart and soul of what social media is, where it's an interactive platform. It's a social platform. It's social media.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I mean, I want to take, man, when you're worried about doing YouTube videos, man, you got it, man. Like, that would have been a fucking amazing video right there. Just you talking.
You just clip that for me and send it to me, and I'll throw it out there. What that's like, Brandon told me to go ahead and test this, so let me know.
It's different on social media. Like, you don't need to be all. They don't want it all polished. Like, I spent money I spent like $5,000 on a video with a team, and that video didn't do as good as the one video I shot with. My most popular videos I shot with my phone. So it's just like people want it to seem authentic, is what I'm saying. They want to seem like it's coming from you and not like a marketing team, you know. So
no, definitely.
So like the commenting and all that stuff goes from that. But yeah, man, you know, I don't know. What do I know? I'm just some guy.
I think you know something. You got 1 million people following you on Facebook, so something.
A little bit. Yeah. Yo, all right. So, what advice would you give to people who want to, like? Because we're gonna wrap it up soon. But what do you think, like, people who want to get involved in, like, I don't know, do what you're doing, either as training or writing? You know, like, cause that intrigues me a lot. Like your career, you know, and like what you've been able to accomplish. What would you give? What advice would you give to the listeners?
Don't worry about building a brand. Don't worry about making money. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Worry about becoming really good at what you do. Because if you were
That's the first step.
if you were really, really good, it's going to make all the noise you need. And that's what people, like, everyone comes to me. It's like, how do I build my first $1 million product? How do I, go ahead and write my first book? It's like, well, what do you want to write about? What do you want to change? What impact do you want to have? And it's everyone almost always skips step one. They look and they'll see like the videos and they're like, look at Brandon, man. He just took his phone and he did this video. I can do the same thing, but it's like, there are no accidents.
Yeah.
There are steps that had to be taken. There are things that you had to do to build your body, to be comfortable to talk about this stuff, to have an angle and a personality, and whatever it might be. Everyone who is successful has a story. Social media changes everything because people see this stuff pop up and they're just like, okay, how do I go ahead and do what they're doing, but do it for me? And what they're really should be looking at is like, how do these people become successful at what they're doing? How did they become an authority? How did they become so smart and so effective? And that's where it starts. Every single person who comes to me has the ability to do whatever they want if they're willing to put in the blood, sweat, and tears. Don't try and cheat the system. And that's the problem. When you try and create a shorter pathway, it's not going to do it. It's the same thing, like you've mentioned Tim several times. Tim Ferriss is very famous for 4-Hour Workweek, 4-Hour Body, and a 4-Hour Chef, and all this stuff. And he gives you these methods that you can do. But at the end of the day, you can use all the methods, but if you don't have a good idea and something that is of real value, it doesn't matter how many hacks you create. No one's going to care because it won't be good. So become really, really good. If it's in fitness, go ahead and start with your own body, start training, go to conferences, find mentors, learn from people. Engineering the Air Force, we talk about the importance of the mentor. Find someone who will take you into the win and empower you and train you. If you want to become really good at marketing, making product, learn what to do. Learn how to copyright. Learn how to design a website. Learn the skills, the processes where it's not just that you can be good or you're okay. Be freaking great. Be awesome at what you do, and then you're going to kill it. You're going to kill it, but don't miss that step. Everyone wants to go from mailroom to boardroom. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, but you have to start in the mailroom. You have to. We all start somewhere. Most people when they start, I know when I start, I've written about it. When I started in the gym, I would go at the crack of dawn because I was the weakest person. I won't even say dude. I was the weakest person. There were women who, and I say this with all the respect because I know a lot of women who can outlift me. I hang around so many strong women. It's incredible. But I literally would be in the bench press with a 10-pound plate on each side. And there was a day in the gym that I got pinned under 65 pounds. And I just couldn't get out. And some guy came out and saved me. And every time he walked in the gym, I'd be like, you ever know that you're my hero? Every time he would walk in because he saved my life under 65 pounds of weight. And that was my story. And there were so many things that led me to that point that I was doing wrong, but so many things that carried me from that point to where I am now, where I was like, you know what? I could have been the guy with the 65-pound bench press trying to create a fitness product and trying to use marketing skills, or I could go ahead, I could live it. I could learn it. I could become really good and then not sell anything until I knew that it was just going to be incredible. Because if someone picked it up, again, it's a representation of you. And you want everything that you put out in this world that's a representation of you to be reflective of you. You want it to be awesome. You want it to be amazing. So your place to start is always with just don't become good, become great at what you do. And then there are no limits. There are no ceilings.
You got to have, that's beautiful advice, man. You got to have an area of expertise, man. Me and you were just talking about fitness. We weren't looking at notes or reading stuff. We've trained people for over a decade. We worked out. So it's an area of expertise. It's not like we're coming at it. We're trying to teach you something we just learned. That's what I did in high school when I wrote a book report. Right, I'm trying to write about something I just learned an hour ago. But we can just do it. That's how I'm able to write my books with just recording it, right? Because I've had so much experience with it. I just know it like the back of my hand. And I think that's the advantage I had from being old when the internet came out. but so don't skip that step, man. Be good. Be good as you can. If you're not good, then skill acquisition is where you should start, probably.
Right. Couldn't have said it any better.
No, you said it better. I said it again, not as good.
It sounded pretty good when I just heard it. I was just like, yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, yo, listen, man, it's been great, man. It's been great talking to you, man.
I appreciate it, Brandon. Thank you.
I want to thank you again. I meant to say this. I thought intermittent fasting was a sham until I read intermittent. You helped change my perspective on that. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm one of the biggest proponents. So I just wanted to thank you personally for that.
Of course, and this is the chain of command, because I'll be honest, like, I thought intermittent fasting was a sham, and I read stuff by Brad Pilon with Eat Stop Eat, and I read stuff from Martin Birkin, and then there was the synthesis of information. So I mean, we stand on the shoulders of giants. We all do. Everything in this fitness industry is we're always learning from someone, then we're trying to adapt in a way that might help people in a different way. And I've learned stuff from those people that I was able to take and kind of almost turn it and look in a different way and be like, how can I take what I know from these really smart guys who know more than me and maybe adjust in a way that might even help more people? So part of it is that, in this life, we always got to pay it forward. We always got to, do what we can to help others, but also look back and, pay our respects to those that molded us, who shaped us, because very few thoughts are just come from nowhere. And a lot of times they start somewhere, and then we make them our own by the adjustments we create for them. All right, cool, man. Well, I'm glad you hear that, because I probably, over my career, plagiarized a lot from you. We're all learning from somewhere. As long as we're helping people, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, if we're helping people, if like you have ever in litigation. Yeah. All right, man. Well, yo, wait a minute. Tell people where they can find you. Any links or anything. This would be a good place to do that. Yeah. So for more content from me, you can go to bornfitness.com. That's where you see all the articles. That's where you can find online coaching for fitness and diet plans. And if you're interested on the business side of things, whether it's creating products, building a website, or helping yourself make money, it is Born Fitness Consulting. So bornfitness.com or bornfitnessconsulting.com. Either way. And then on Facebook, it's Born Fitness. On Twitter, it's Born Fitness. On Instagram, it's Born Fitness. I got that brand consistency thing down real good. You did that. I see what you did there. All right, man. Take it easy, everyone. All right, you take care. Appreciate it.